slopestyle world ski champion. Please congratulate Kaya Turski, representing Canada.
So not going to the Olympics was never not an option for you?
It was not an option. So I blew my knee for the third time 6 months right before the Olympics, like to the day. So it was like a very rushed process. I got surgery 2 weeks after I blew my knee. So that gave me 5.5 months. I moved out to Vancouver and trained with Damien at 40th Center. For 3.5 months, we rehabbed. I think I was back on snow in 4 months. I went to Italy right before too. And that's where I caught like some kind of bug and I just got sick. That was the beginning of the end, for sure. The stress just like ate me alive. I didn't feel good on that course. Like I was like drained. I couldn't convince myself that I was strong enough to be out there. And I remember talking to my coach saying like, this is not the condition I want to be in. I don't feel good. I competed on a Monday, but I know that I lost. I had already lost by like Friday. I was totally heartbroken, in shock, devastated, everything, like totally gutted. Went home to Montreal for a couple weeks, just kind of gathered myself a little bit, and then went back to LA where I completely disappeared from the face of the earth. For as long as I can remember, I've identified myself, and I feel like the world outside of me has identified me as like this like strong, stoic, like successful athlete, labeled like the queen of slopestyle. When I failed at the Olympics, I felt like I'd failed as a person. I went into a really dark space. For a while, I just kind of retreated and just kept to myself. I was depressed. I was questioning my athletic career. I just felt like all that had been erased and I'd just been defined by that failure. It like forced me to start like working on myself and working on identifying things that were unique to me, like Kaya, the person, and not just the athlete. And I started to develop this sense of self that wasn't tied just to athletics. In fact, really withdrew from the athletic world and just like completely pulled away from that identity so I could like find my own identity. I can't say I'm totally over it. I don't know if I ever will be. I'm just like, it took me a long time to forgive myself for it. 18 months post Sochi, I decided to take my first ski trip. I went with my teammate, Roz. We decided to go to New Zealand together and like just get back on skis, no pressure, no expectation, on our own. Turns out we're like soulmates and best of friends. And I felt like a free bird again, you know? And every day, like I just was progressing and I was feeling it and I was just like embracing all these amazing things that skiing had provided me, but that I'd kind of missed along the way because I'd been like just so consumed and so stressed. I hadn't hit a jump since Sochi, so it'd been a long time. And I remember I was hitting my first 50-footer, and I remember like my heart was like pounding like crazy. I was alive in that moment. And I remember talking to my teammate, Kim Lamar, and I was like, Kim, like I'm so scared to hit this jump. What if my knee just blows up, you know? My heart was pounding, and I surrendered, you know, you just gotta let go. I jumped and I landed, boom, skied away. It was like one of like the realest things I've ever felt. This like insane like implosion or explosion, I don't know, in my body. It just hooked me back. I was like, wow, like this is the feeling I want. And that was the beginning of me coming back.
Fast forward to now, how are you feeling?
Well, I also had, and this like sounds like I'm throwing it out of left field because I haven't talked about it really. I have like a chronic headache problem. Over the years, I think my neck and my head has really kind of taken a toll from constant impacts, likely concussions as well. And I have a headache every day of my life, pretty much. It's been 5 years since I've...
5.
It's gotten worse over time, and I've explored countless therapies and treatments. It's drained me emotionally, mentally. I feel sometimes like it's killing me, and it makes me feel pretty isolated sometimes. I grew up like a fighter, you know. I'm I pushed limits, and
Now you're being tested.
I'm being very harsh, strongly tested. And so I'm learning now to train around that and respect my limits.
So heading into this Olympics then, what's the biggest lesson that you've taken from all of this?
That I'm a warrior, that I have gone through all of this. On one hand, I feel like I have so much to still offer the sport. I feel like I really want to come back and achieve what I wasn't able to achieve last time around. I think my head problem is the hardest thing I've had to deal with, and I can look back and see what I've achieved with it. So I know that I can still thrive, even though it takes a lot more, but I can do it.
Your history's shown you definitely can.
Yeah, I'm a warrior. I think I'm a crazy warrior.